Here we go, the Corona Extra Super Middleweight Tail of the Tape. The champion, the New England Super Middleweight champ, Vladine Mr. Providence Biosse, 15-2-1 with 7 knockouts, weighing 167.5 pounds, sitting at 5 feet 11 inches from Providence, Rhode Island. His opponent, Rich Gingras, the challenger, 13-3, 8 knockouts, 168 pounds, sitting at 5 feet 10 inches from Attleboro, Massachusetts. We are ready for this New England Super Middleweight Championship bout. The official fighter introductions now in the center of the ring with ring announcer Bill Carpenter.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment and Sports, in association with Twin River Casino, presents tonight's Classic Main Event. 8 rounds of boxing for the New England Super Middleweight Championship. Tonight's main event is sanctioned by the Rhode Island Department of Business Regulation, Division of Commercial Licensing, Racing, and Athletics. Paul McGreevy, Director. Maria D'Alessandro, Deputy Director. And Christina Tobias, Chief Licensing Examiner, Racing and Athletics. We have 3 judges scoring tonight's championship bout. They are Robin Hayes, Wayne Lima, and Glenn Feldman. And once the bell sounds, the man in charge of all the action in the ring is your referee, Joey Lupino. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another Classic Main Event. This is the Corona Extra and Salsa Tequila Main Event. 8 rounds of boxing for the New England Super Middleweight Title. And now, introducing the principals. First, fighting out of the blue corner is the challenger. He's wearing solid black trunks. He weighed in exactly at the super middleweight limit of 168 pounds. His professional record, 13 wins against only 3 losses, 8 big wins coming by way of knockout. Featured in the Contender television series, he now fights out of Attleboro, Massachusetts. Please welcome Rich Gingras. Across the ring to my right, fighting out of the red corner is the champion. He's wearing the black trunks with red. He tipped the scales at exactly 167.5 pounds. He climbs through the ropes with 15 professional wins, only 2 losses with 1 draw, 7 big wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Providence, Rhode Island, he is the reigning, defending New England Super Middleweight Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Providence, Vladine Biosse. Referee Joey Lupino with final instructions.
Well, Rich, listen, you're both professionals. We already went over the rules in the dressing rooms, all right? Right here is good. Right here, if that thing's up like that, that's not low. I'm not calling that low right there, all right? Listen, guys, you're both professionals. I want to see this very good fight tonight, all right? This is for the New England Super Middleweight Championship. Let's do it, okay? Touch them up. Good luck up there.
8 rounds of boxing for the New England Super Middleweight Title.
Here we go with the main event. I'm Pat Sullivan, my broadcast partner, Michael Parenti. Brought to you by Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment and Sports. What a main event we have here for the USA New England Super Middleweight Championship. Vladine Biosse coming out of the red corner with the black trunks and the red trim. He is the champion. The opponent coming out of the blue corner, Rich Gingras in the black shorts. Vladine 15-2-1 with 7 knockouts. Rich 13-3 with 8 knockouts. A lot of storylines in this fight, Mike. I'll let you pick up on the most notable.
It would have to be Orlando Val's former trainer of Vladine Biosse, now working with Rich Gingras. He picked up Gingras shortly after he and Biosse went their separate ways. Biosse now working with Paul Andrade. And Rich Gingras said, listen, I've been wanting to work with Orlando Val's for quite some time. It's not just because I'm preparing for this fight. This is supposed to be, or what is shaping up to be, a long-term relationship. It's going to be hard to top that co-feature, but this would be the fight that could do it, Pat. This one's been brewing for quite some time. Rich Gingras essentially earned this fight by beating Joe Gardner in May. Vladine Biosse took care of business against Latif Mundy, and here they are fighting for Biosse's New England Super Middleweight Title. You can't get a better main event than this.
This title was won back on July 9th, 2010 when Vladine beat Irish Joey McCready on the co-feature on ESPN2 Friday Night Fights here at this Twin River Event Center. He's defended it 4 times, including his latest one last year against Joey the KO Kid Spina. It's a title that Vladine's had, and he hasn't let go since he won it back in 2010. But Rich Gingras certainly a very worthy challenger right now for this title.
Yeah, and the one thing about Biosse too, Pat, that we have to mention is he really steps up when the stage is set. When it's the biggest fight, he really steps up. He stepped up against Joe McCready on ESPN. Joey Spina was supposed to beat him within 3-4 rounds, and he dominated him. It seems like when the lights are brightest, that's when Biosse really brings his best to the table. And the lights are definitely bright tonight with this title on the line.
Vladine Biosse's story and his athletic history is well chronicled. High school and track and soccer at Hope High School, played collegiate Division I football, then became a professional boxer. And he's really been able to use his athleticism to get him to this point where he is at 15-2-1. He's got a lot of boxing skills, don't get me wrong. But when the skill is even, Biosse's able to use his athletic ability to out-hustle and out-manage his opponent. And we'll see if in this fight, if their skill is even, if Rich has got to the point where Vladine is at skill-wise, if Biosse is just that much more athletic than Rich.
It's true. Stamina, conditioning, never a problem for Mr. Providence, Vladine Biosse. The only times he's been beat, he's just been knocked out or stopped. That's been the difference.
Final 10 seconds to go. First round of a scheduled 8.
Bit of a slower pace, Pat, in round number 1. I think both fighters trying to feel each other out here.
This is the first fight where Orlando Bowles, who you see right now, is working with Rich Gingras. The second fight where Paul Andrade is working with Vladine Biosse. And one of the things that Orlando had mentioned to us and that Rich had mentioned to us is that, yes, he has coached Vladine for 7 years. He helped bring Vladine up to where he is now, and now he's going to help Rich bring Vladine down. How much credit do you put into Orlando training and knowing Orlando for training and knowing Vladine for 7 years to be able to use that as an advantage?
I think it's a huge advantage. He is the one who crafted those game plans that beat Joey McCready and Joey Spina. Now, obviously, the fighter has to execute. There's no question about it. But when the fighter listens and executes that game plan, it's almost near perfection for Biosse when he's in there. And he obviously knows all the tendencies, and he does know the weaknesses because he has talked about them in the past and what Biosse has needed to do to improve. We'll see if he does that under Paul Andrade. At the same time, Pat, Andrade's going to train him differently than Orlando Bowles did. So it could be an X factor. But I tend to think that the edge goes to Gingras based on that alone. Maybe the athleticism of Biosse evens the table.
Another thing worth recognizing, Vladine in 18 pro fights, he's never lost a decision. In his 2 losses, he was knocked out in both of those. So does Rich have to knock Vladine out to be able to beat him? In Vladine's last loss against Marcus Upshaw, he was winning the fight until he got stopped in the 8th round. The other loss that he had against Denis Kravtsov, he was knocked out in the 4th round. He was still doing okay in that fight as well. So is Vladine a fighter where if it goes a distance, he's able to outwork and out-hustle his opponents?
You would think so. Those later rounds tend to go to Biosse because of his stamina and conditioning. When the other fighter fatigues, that's when he steps up. But Rich Gingras is a workout fitness fanatic. He is strict on his diets. He and his wife actually own a gym in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So again, conditioning. This is a guy who was a former cruiserweight, used to fight close to 200 pounds, and is now fighting at 168. And not only fighting at 168, but coming in underweight yesterday at the weigh-in, half a pound lighter than Biosse.
Minute 50 to go. We have Vladine's fans cheering. Gingras 13-3, Mike. He started his career 10-2, although those 2 losses came on the Contender Season 3. And these are at the cruiserweight level, and now you see him applying that power on Vladine, but Vladine coming right back.
That was a huge left by Gingras. I thought he buckled Biosse's knees, Biosse's still standing, but he's against the ropes fighting back. Well, that was a big momentum shift by Rich Gingras. And now you see Biosse trying to fight his way off the ropes. Great action here in the middle of round 2. We still have 1:10 to go.
What a round here. And he's really applying the pressure. And what he's doing well right now is he's playing in Vladine's game. He's getting in close, and he's able to get him with those short hooks and those short uppercuts.
Referee Joey Lupino watching him, telling him to watch out for the headbutts. That's the last thing you want to see in a championship fight. With two fighters fighting so close to each other, there's a tendency to clash heads.
Final 30 seconds to go. Biosse coming off a 8-round unanimous decision victory over Latif Mundy. Also, you want to talk about stamina. Rich Gingras' longest fight went 7 rounds. It was an 8-round fight that he won by 7th round knockout. He's never been past the 7th round. So again, we're going to see how stamina comes into play on Rich Gingras' part. One of the things that Rich expressed over the last few days on the press tour for this main event was that he's never had a coach that went and looked at game footage or fight footage of his opponents. Never knew what his opponent's strengths and weaknesses were. I think he actually made a comment to you. He didn't know whether his opponent was a lefty or righty until he got to the weigh-in. Now he has Orlando Valls, who is going to almost over-criticize the opponent, know every single strength and weakness, especially Vladine Biosse, who he's known for 7 years and was a trainer for every single coach. So maybe there could be a little bit of an equalizer here in the athleticism if he does know everything about Vladine and he does watch those opponents, because, hey, Rich got to 13-3. Rich got on the contender. Rich got to where he is at this point without knowing anything about his opponents.
It does say a lot about Gingras' toughness, Gingras rather. And he said at the time, listen, they try to make me into a boxer. I'm a puncher. He's a brawler. Doesn't have the speed. He's not an orthodox fighter. He is just strong and relentless, and that's really his strength. Biosse obviously more of the athlete in terms of the footwork. It makes for a great fight.
Rich Gingras, as we mentioned, coming off a split decision victory over Joe Gardner a few months ago. And in that fight, Gardner, his strengths turned into weaknesses against Rich Gingras. He did a great job of breaking Joe down throughout that fight, getting in close, not letting Joe use his reach. And now you see Gingras almost falling into the laps of the ringside officials.
Biosse just kept pressing into the ropes, and referee Joey Lupino not breaking that up in time. That's not a good job on his part. He's got to break that up a little bit sooner. There was no action there. He's got to separate those fighters before they fall through the ropes. And now you see a big left by Gingras. He ate a big right hand earlier, and that's what pushed him against the ropes. And now Gingras fighting back. Biosse spins him, gets him back against the ropes. Neither fighter again, Pat, afraid to fight on the inside here.
Well, neither fighter afraid to fight on the ropes either. They both had success from that standpoint.
One thing Gingras tends to do sometimes is throw from the hips a bit. It seems like he leaves that head open. If he's not going to connect, if he misses at some point, Biosse has a chance to counter over the top. You see that short left uppercut as Gingras gets close. That's one way to stop the guy from trying to get inside.
Minute 20 and change to go here in round number 3 of the Schedule A. Big left hand there by Biosse. Rich ate that shot and kind of grinned right back as if to say, that's all you got.
Biosse feigned the uppercut, then came in with the overhand left, and he caught him flush. Now Gingras with the right hand pushes Biosse back a bit.
Gingras has done a good job of being aggressive in this fight and staying aggressive. A lot of times when a fighter goes up against Vladine, they start aggressive, and Vladine's able to work that right out of them by the way he moves, by how crouched down in his stance he is. But Rich has done a good job of staying aggressive throughout the first 3 rounds.
And I really think Gingras' aggressiveness at the end of the second round may have stolen that one, Pat. He caught Biosse with that big left coming forward and really dominated the final 45 seconds or so.
Final 20 seconds to go of round number 3 of this title fight. Vladine, Mr. Providence, Biosse against Rich Gingras. Final seconds to go. I'm really glad the Rhode Island Athletic Commission decided to go with Joey Lupino for this title fight. He's not only one of the best referees, probably the best referee in New England, but the way that he's able to separate the fights at all the right points really makes for a more entertaining fight. But let's listen to head corner Orlando Valls right now as he talks to Rich Gingras.
Listen, you gotta come to him. When you come to him, step to him with your right hand, left hook. Step to him with your right hand, left hook. You gotta step to him now. Now here's the thing, when you're throwing them hooks and shit, and then throw that right hook too. Aim right here. See what you do is just shoot too high. You keep stuffing him down, you're going over his head. You're going over his head. Now aim low, I'm telling you, man, you'll catch it. Aim down here, he'll duck right into it. Right?
You're clanking a little. Watch your heads, guys. Big.
Don't let this he's trying to walk you back. So he's throwing his grab, trying to walk you back. Look, man, so he tries to grab you, get rid of it.
Double the right hand. Get some snap on your jab.
Double that right hand. The right hand's working good.
You just saw an example there, Pat, of Orlando Valls and knowing Biosse's tendencies, telling Gingras he keeps his head low, so aim low. You're going to catch him at some point. He almost caught him right there at the start of the 4th. Great action to start this round.
Rich came out of that corner like a bull, went right after Biosse. Nice left straight there by Biosse. Not even halfway through this fight. Vladine now trying to work combinations back into this fight. Biosse coming off a training camp where he was out in California with the likes of Andre Ward and some of the best boxers in the world. So he learned more in that 1 week at camp than he has in his entire career.
Which may have been a thinly veiled shot at his former trainer, no doubt about that. Joey Lupino warned him to watch out for trying to hook the arms. And again in the corner, warning Gingras about the headbutts and leading forward. Gingras working the body effectively against the ropes.
Here, Vladine's corner being very vocal right now. That's Paul Andrade, his head trainer, and Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, fighter who will be challenging for a world title in a little over a month. In the corner here for Biosse, trying to urge on their fighter. Right now, Rich Gingras has him on the ropes and misses with a big monster right hand. And Vladine able to tie up after that miss.
Gingras going for the home run on that one. You got to be careful. Biosse's a very good counterpuncher as well. Right now, the technique's starting to go out the window. Biosse's head went through the ropes.
And again, you see every time Rich lunges in, Vladine's head is down, and Rich puts his head down to throw it. Very dangerous situation for these two fighters to be in if they clash heads.
It's almost counterproductive to what Orlando Valls is telling him in order to aim low. Instead, Gingras is more or less leaning forward and not getting the most out of those shots.
15 seconds to go in round number 4. Nice shot there by Biosse. It looks like some swelling starting to occur on Vladine's right eye. Gingras now is back up against the ropes. This fight just about half over. What a start to this title fight. Fans certainly appreciate it. Let's listen into Vladine's corner.
Fight fans, say hello to tonight's newest sponsor, Southern Tequila.
Right there.
With Southern Tequila, you can turn any night into a celebration. Call a few friends, cut a few lines, get the Southern. Enjoy the freshest, easiest margaritas you can make. Southern Tequila, the freshest tasting margaritas every day.
round number 5. Mike Parenti, Pat Sullivan. Happy you can make classic entertainment and sports boxing a part of your evening. Great fight and a big left hand there by Vladine Biosse.
It's funny, you expect the rounds to pick up as they go along. These rounds start out at a fever pitch, then turn into a slow grind toward the end. Much different than the follow Chapman fight. Those were just eclectic bombs being thrown. These two are wearing each other down through 4. It's been a tremendous grind, but it's been very exciting. Nice left there.
Another big overhand left there by Gingras. He's been able to land that pretty consistently when Vladine takes a step back. Rich is able to lunge so quickly and connect to that. He connects again with a big right hook.
Great action again early in round number 5. Gingras has Biosse against the ropes. Short right uppercut. Doing some damage with these punches.
Another tough fight to score. Mike Parenti, the matchmaker here for CES Boxing. I tell you what, no judges are going to want to come work any cards that you put on anymore. I would not want to be a judge for any of these fights. They've all been so close. Nobody wants to be the bad guy scoring these fights, but it's so hard when both fighters are putting so much into this fight.
We make them earn their money at those judges' tables. This round's been non-stop from the opening bell, Pat. A minute and a half in, and neither fighter has even taken a step back for a minute. It's just an exchange of lefts and rights. You see the fans on their feet outside the VIP area. Everybody on the edge of their seat. Gingras missing with another one of those big overhand rights.
You know what's going to happen if he connects on any of those.
I think the game plans are out the window, Pat. These two are just throwing bombs here in this 5th round. Final 30 seconds, and they haven't slowed a pace. Right from the opening bell, they've been coming at each other.
It's going to look like a statement round for both fighters, as if they both go to the corner and realize it's anyone's fight right now, and the 5th round is going to be the pivotal one. They actually both threw the same exact uppercut at the same time.
Expecting a Rocky II double knockdown any minute now.
We almost did the impossible. We almost got to a broadcast without you referencing a Rocky movie. End of round number 5. The corners rush to their fighters' aids right now. What a battle going the last 3 rounds.
Both trainers excited with their fighters' productivity in that round, and it's hard not to be. They both came out firing. Both had their moments. That is as tough a round to score as you will see anywhere in the world in professional boxing. How do you score that one?
That's a really tough round to score. Both fighters throwing constantly. One fighter would be on the ropes, the other one would reverse it, going back and forth. Let's listen in to Rich Gingras' corner right now in Orlando Valls.
Chuck Sullivan and Jose Santos with 4-1 boxing also working Rich Gingras' corner.
And again, the fight picks up right where the last round ends. Joe Lupino hadn't even really called it start to the action, and Gingras was already on the other side of the ring punching Vladine, and Vladine was punching him back.
It's basically a continuation of round number 5. They're picking up right where they left off, and the fans are loving every second of it. Again, walking into each other's punches. Now Biosse has Gingras against the ropes. And again, you see these spots, Pat. Here it is, Gingras going through the ropes again. It's just that constant pressure. They're grinding on each other and just exerting their will. And I'm sure fatigue, of course, sitting at this point. These guys have kept up a tremendous pace through 5.5 rounds. It's hard not to get a little bit of fatigue.
Final 2 minutes to go here in round number 6. Biosse and Gingras, for the first time in a while, the action taking place in the center of the ring.
They're surprisingly not on top of each other for a few seconds, and it's really been non-stop action since the beginning of the 5th round.
Gingras connecting pretty well there with those hooks, and now Biosse has Gingras on the ropes. Minute and change to go in round number 6.
Once again, nearly impossible to score this round. Both Biosse and Gingras have had their moments. Very similar pace from round number 5. You see a sea of uppercuts, hooks, overhand rights and lefts. One thing you don't see, no jabs, Pat. It's all power punches these last 2 rounds.
I honestly don't know if I've seen a jab in the past 2 hours of fights here at Twin River. It has been nothing but bombs and haymakers and uppercuts, and the fans are loving every second of this.
Huge right uppercut by Gingras, and then Biosse just turns him around and gets him back on the ropes. There is no moment to breathe in this fight at all for either side. Just when they think they may have a shred of momentum or an opening to push the momentum or push the pace, the opponent responds. It's been tremendous.
And this is more or less a fight that we expected Rich Gingras to be in. He calls himself a brawler. He likes to fight. He doesn't want to go in there and win up points. He wants to fight. Vladine, he's a technical fighter. He's been able to go in there and he's been able to win fights by breaking down his opponent. This is a different side of Vladine we've seen. He fought similar to this way against Joey Spina a year ago when he defended his title. But this is a whole another side of Vladine Biosse that we haven't seen.
What a 6th round. I thought you couldn't top the 5th. The 6th round was even better.
Unmistakable color, what a fine taste.
Do not change the weapon for him.
Relaxation.
You want to get ahead.
One of the most recognizable bottles in the world.
I want you
Nothing beats a Corona Extra. Try one today.
Okay? Don't
Vodka should be fun. It's smooth. It's pure. Your Chinese vodkas take themselves way too seriously. Try tonight's sponsor, Pinnacle Vodka. Pinnacle comes in a variety of flavors, and you can't miss their distinctive bright blue bottle. Try it today. Escape from the norm. That's Pinnacle Vodka.
Cut your anger. No more headlock. Okay? I want that body work. Money. Okay?
Ready for round number 7. We knew it was going to happen. We knew the fighters would get across the ring before the bell actually sounded.
And Biosse having a wardrobe malfunction in his corner, and Gingras came out and just started throwing punches.
And look at Rich, he's ready to go. He's gonna, as soon as Joey Lupino says ready to go, Rich is across the ring throwing those bombs.
No break in the action whatsoever. Rich Gingras, Vladine Biosse, as good as advertised for the New England Super Middleweight Title. And the best part is we still have 2 more full rounds of this to go, with no signs of either fighter slowing down.
That's good news and it's bad news because a lot of fans here wish there was a lot more than 6 minutes to go in this fight. Regardless of who these fans are rooting for, you have to appreciate the tenacity and the heart that these fighters are using right now in the ring.
This is a tremendous effort by both sides, win or lose. Very similar to the co-feature with Chris Chapman and Thomas Followo. Both fighters left it in the ring, and you can say the same about Biosse and Gingras. Gingras trying to work the body. Lupino tell him to keep that up. He sneaks in a right uppercut in the process.
Vladine has done a very good job of defending himself against the ropes. Every time Gingras gets him in tight, he's hitting with those uppercuts, and it looks like he's hitting him, but I really think he's just hitting Vladine's gloves and propelling his head up afterwards. But Gingras certainly the aggressor here.
That's a very good point, Pat. As tough as these rounds are to score, Gingras is more of the aggressor Biosse has spent a lot of times with his back against the ropes, not necessarily in any sort of danger, but you wonder if that's going to play into the judges' scorecards and how they see the fight.
Big uppercut there by Gingras, sending Vladine's head back.
Looked like a few teeth flew out of there. Goodness, this has been a tremendous round again.
Vladine's swelling on his right eye, starting to become more and more of a nuisance for the reigning champion. Let's not forget Rich Gingras, the challenger, coming in here to take that belt. And right now he's trying to control the action and land that big punch.
A lot more movement here in the final minute and a half of the 7th round. You wonder if maybe fatigue setting in here, if Biosse's maybe a little bit stunned by some of the shots.
You gotta think that both corners and both fighters think they have to win these next 2 rounds. And we're gonna see here in the next 24 seconds if either fighter could possibly steal this round.
And right here with these final 15 seconds, this is the time to do it. Put your best foot forward.
Three minutes to go in this New England Super Middleweight Championship. The champion, Vladine Biosse, some swelling starting to open up over his eyes. The challenger, Rich Gingras, a cut over his right eye. And you hear him telling the doctor, get away from me.
Gingras absolutely tells the doc, get away from me. That's a pretty nasty cut over Gingras' right eye. They got to patch that up quickly and let it rest out for these final 3 minutes to see if it's not a factor.
Fortunately for Rich Gingras, he has Chucky Sullivan. And I'm not just saying that because it's my namesake, but Chucky Sullivan, been around the game forever. He knows how to close a cut just about as well as anybody.
This is the right guy to have. This is it, Pat. This is where the New England Super Middleweight Title will be won or lost this 8th and final round.
Honestly, this could be anybody's fight. You never know how these 3 judges sitting on the stools are scoring this fight. They've made an incredibly hard fight for the judges, and it's going to get even harder here in this 8th and final round. Gingras looking to continue to control this fight, control the center of the ring. Biosse may have to pick the pace up a little bit as Gingras lunged forward with that left hook.
Again, Pat, he catches Biosse as he's backpedaling. That's dangerous.
And that's really been his most effective punch tonight.
I'm sure that was all part of Orlando Val's game plan. He probably knows when Biosse steps back, he keeps his hands down, and Gingras has used it to his advantage a couple times.
Under 2 minutes to go in this championship round. Both fighters put months of hard work and dedication and sacrifice on the line for this final minute and 30 seconds here at the Twin River Event Center. What a fight here between Biosse and the challenger Gingras. Now Biosse landing some punches. Final minutes to go. Gingras' corner telling him to come forward. Not that Rich would ever do anything else.
That's been the pace the entire fight. Why stop now?
These fans certainly got spoiled tonight by this boxing brought to you by CES.
Big left by Biosse.
And this main event certainly worth the price of admission. Title 30 seconds to go. Not even much you can say to describe this fight.
The action is doing all the talking, Pat. It's been outstanding.
An incredible pace for 8 full rounds. For Gingras, who's never gone past the 7th round in his career. For Biosse, who has, but never in a fight like this. For them to continue at this pace and still punching. Under 10 seconds to go here in the 8th and final round from Twin River Casino. And that's it. That is the end of the fight. Rich Gingras climbs the ropes. Vladine Biosse's corner celebrating. Both corners think they won this fight. Someone is going to be disappointed. I don't even know where to begin to describe this fight. All I know is it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. There's only 3 people in this room whose opinion matters. And we're going to find out from them pretty shortly.
Once again, a near impossible fight to score. I'm glad I'm not the one scoring it.
The champion, Vladine Biosse, won the title July 9, 2010. Like, he's held that title for over 3 years since he last won it on ESPN2 against Joey McCready, a decision victory. He's defended it 4 times. This, his 5th title defense. Will it be a successful one? Or will he be turning that belt over to Rich Gingras from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, who's still celebrating in his corner with his new head trainer, Orlando Vallis?
Yeah, it's tough for either side to claim a victory here because this fight was so close to score and so difficult to see the momentum in the rounds. There really was no point where one fighter, I think, strung together more than 1 consecutive round or 2 consecutive rounds. It's almost impossible to score and figure out how this one might have went. Will we have the belt change hands tonight? We're going to find out real soon. But Biosse, if he does come away with the victory, this will no doubt be his most difficult title offense. I don't think you can get much tougher than the fight that Rich Gingras gave him tonight, win or lose.
Crowd certainly appreciated the effort on both fighters' behalf. Tell you, what a job by Joey Lupino, the referee for tonight's action. He was in the fight from start to finish, and a lot of times a referee, you don't want his name to be said so much because that means that he's involved in the fight. Now you see Hammerin' Hank Lundy, one of the world's top 140-pound fighters, holding the belt. He's going to crown either the champion or the challenger here.
Maybe Hank's just taking the belt home. Hank Lundy may be fighting for a belt of his own real soon.
Going back to my point about Joey Lupino, he really did a tremendous job. This is a dangerous fight. When a fighter like Vladine crouches down so low and a fighter like Rich Gingras lunges forward so often, there's so many opportunities for headbutts, for accidental cuts, and Joey did a great job of sensing that and breaking it up, and that's why he's probably the best referee in New England.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%, Packer. Sometimes it's tough. You maybe break up the action too early. There's that fine line between letting them fight, but knowing when to step in and avoid an accident, and Lupino was masterful tonight.
Biosse had his right eye starting to swell. Gingras had his right eye starting to bleed. No knockdowns, plenty of punches.
Plenty of punches landed, and again, maybe 2 or 3 jabs the whole night.
And we are ready for the official decision in this New England Super Middleweight Championship bout. Let's head down to the only man who knows the scores right now, ring announcer Bill Carpenter.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for both fighters. Great, great title fight here tonight. Both guys left it all in the ring with the title on the line. After 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Judge Lima scores the bout 76-76, even. Judge Feldman has it 77-76. And Judge Hayes has it 77-75 for your winner by a majority decision and the new New England Super Middleweight Champion, Rich Gingras.